Alright guys, it's Alex, and today I want to make a live stream because I have a guest that we wanted to basically or decided to join on this interview about long-lasting results from Rapid Regrowth Formula. Basically, this is a guy who was in my program back in 2018. He got very good results, and basically what happened last year is that he did join my team to help to work with guys to solve the skin loss problem. So I decided to actually make interview with him since he was okay with it. Abdul, could you basically introduce yourself?
Yeah, hey, my name is Abdul, and I joined the program in 2018, and I live in Norway, and I'm 23 years old, turning 24 soon. So I've been on this program for a while, and I've learned a lot from it. So I think that's what we're gonna go through later today. How I kind of my progress from start till now. Um, and I'm currently on my third year in my bachelor's degree. So my hair was really important for me. Because I'm still pretty young and important for me. So that's why I kind of reached out to Alex. I found him on YouTube, and that's basically where it all began. I'm happy to be back here.
Because we did two interviews before. Like we did one in 2019, and we also did one in 2020. And
Yes.
Basically, you still have your hair. And this is basically like a big concern for a lot of guys is that the results will not last, or they will fall out, or the treatment will become less effective over time. But basically, as we can see in your example of those, is that you still have your hair.
Well, yeah, I need a haircut though, but like usual. But I'm really happy with the results, honestly. It's something I never thought I would be able to achieve. But I have worked really hard for it as well with your help. It does, you need to be really dedicated if you want to kind of turn it around. But I'm really happy I did, because it's totally worth it. And it's happy to see that the results can also maintain over time. That it's not something that lasts for like a year and then you have to do huge for example, if you do hair transplant, there can be like a couple of years, but then you might have to do another hair transplant and another with I thought that I don't even need minoxidil. And that really helped a lot, because I got very good regrowth from just Finasteride and following the regimen really good.
And could you tell basically a bit more about the problems you are having to begin with? Like I can show you a picture of you.
Yeah.
It could be like when you reach it out to me. Could you tell a bit more what happens this stage here?
Yeah. So that picture right there is when I was in the military, and I was. It was actually when I had a buzz cut, so I had to kind of shave it down a bit. But then I kind of noticed at first how bad it actually was. I did know previously that it was really bad, because I was kind of losing hair at a pretty rapid. I didn't know that it was gonna be, it was gonna be that quick, because I had so many different problems like inflammation and androgenetic alopecia and etc. So it got really bad, and that's when I first started kind of reaching out to you as well, and it was I was really miserable back then.
Do you remember back then, Abdul, what kind of things happen in your scalp? What is kind of you mentioned inflammation? Could you describe a bit more? What do you mean by term inflammation?
Yeah, so it was basically my scalp felt this kind of burning sensation, and it was I had a lot of scalp issues a lot of time, where I believe something I learned afterwards that I didn't know back then is that my I used to always feel this burning sensation typically when there was I was doing a very high like a heavy exercise or something, and I was sweating on my scalp. Then I felt it really well, and it kind of correlated with something I learned afterwards, that the pores were most likely getting blocked with sweat and all other stuff. But I didn't know back then, so fixing all these kind of different kind of issues really helped a lot for me, because I know that inflammation type hair loss is something that was basically the worst for me.
Sure. And like when you are having like burning sensation, basically what did happen to your hair? Like were your hair also shedding at that time, or was it just burning sensation and you felt that the hair was basically kind of thinning out without shedding, or was there shedding as well? So you noticed during that time?
There was both. It was a burning sensation, but it was also really like bad shedding afterwards. I would lose like in certain times, and it was also correlated with diet as well. Like this burning sensation happened usually if I had too much like oily foods, like deep fried foods, or coffee, or everyone has their own kind of path that they can be allergic to. I had some foods that now I know that I have to kind of stand clear of, because if I have too much of them, then this kind of same burning sensation can come back. And this also kind of contributes with the shedding.
Like a couple of weeks afterwards, a couple of days afterwards,
no, it was actually, for me, it was really, really quick. Like if I felt this kind of burning sensation, it was really quick. It was rather quick. It took maybe a couple of hours, to be honest. And I started feeling my scalp maybe got very oily, and very, like, I started itching a lot. And if you itch, of course, you can kind of damage the hair follicles as well, or you can like remove the hair. So there was definitely a correlation that I felt, that whenever I had this burning sensation and the scalp issues, my hair shedding was at its worst.
Right. Okay. And then when you talk about shedding, at that time, approximately how many hairs did you see were shedding? For example, did you apply shampoo on your, did you notice some hairs in your hands, or how did you notice basically shedding itself? Like what kind of was the context behind it?
Yeah, it was usually at least during the shower when applying shampoos. And actually, there was like a couple of shampoos where I noticed even more shedding, because some of the shampoos were not that good. Like they contained some ingredients that increased this hair shedding. But it was usually in the shower, and was also I had this very weird like I had this addiction of, like, whenever I woke up, I would check the pillow and see how much hair was on the pillow. I think most of people can kind of agree there that that's normal. But I did check the pillow, and usually I used to count the hairs on the pillow. That was kind of a way of kind of noticing how much I was losing.
Right. And do you remember how many hairs did you see in pillow on the times that you had actually that inflammatory outbreak with a burning sensation?
Yeah, for me, it could be all the way from 10 to 20 whenever I woke up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. That's quite a lot. And nowadays, how many hairs do you see in pillow?
I don't notice any, like maybe 3 or 4.
Like you had a context where you are sowing information. It was very hard because you are in the military, right? You had to wear a helmet most likely. On those things, just basically made things even worse, right? So for you, it was a hard time to actually address it. I remember
it was. I had to kind of find a like middle ground there, because, as you said, I had to wear like a helmet, like a military grade helmet, which are usually really tight, and you're supposed to have it really tight as well. So it kind of limits on all the airflow as well to your scalp, and also when you have this kind of tight kind of structure helmet on your scalp, it can also it can cause a lot of itching and redness. And also I had to wear this beret that we used, and that was also really bad, because that was like even tighter than than the helmet.
Right.
So I would notice that my scalp actually got way worse during those times when we had to, for example, do heavy exercises like running a lot with helmets and etc.
Right. Yes.
Hence why I actually shaved my head, because it actually relieved that kind of tension.
Right. So you would say that back then when you did shave a head, it actually was helpful for you to kind of get a better management or situation.
Yeah, it did help a lot, as well as applying ointments and hair management. Especially, I would advise anyone who's actually watching this who's in the military and is facing similar problems. It's way easier to address inflammation, etc. When you like buzz your hair down to a very short level than having it longer.
All right, and this next picture, could you could you tell a bit more about this one?
Yeah, so this picture is when I kind of regrew my hair out, but the inflammation was still bad. I remember I came out from the shower when I took that picture because I had this really bad, like it was actually worse than that, but I have it like combed over a bit, so you can't really see that, you know, it's still thin. Like it was generally really thin all over, and that was at the point where people were noticing it really easily, like that I was thinning out really quick. And it was at that period as well that I was using a lot of oils, hair oils, which I never use nowadays. I never touch them. But I used it back then, and you can definitely see the impact that, you know, oils had as well on my scalp.
Sure, yes. And just a question, like when you are having burning sensation, was it all over the scalp this was happening, or it was specific areas, like was it, for example, more was it crown or temples, or was it all over? Was it just burning all it?
I've actually had different kind of areas, like it has switched up during the years. Because, for example, at the start, I had burning sensation maybe only in the back, but then over a couple of months or years, I can kind of have it like in this side or in this side, or maybe both. Like it kind of varies for me. But I usually never have it on the back of my head. Sometimes, like I get some like acne there. If I eat a lot of oily food and I start to like get very oily skin, and I also get it on my I use it's very like rare that I get some acne on my sides, but it has happened. But it's usually on the top of my scalp area where it's the worst.
Right, I see. And when you say like just kind of address it from diet as well, like because you did have like you had a eczema problem because your scalp got very affected by some workouts by helmet, but you also had internal problem because it did react to different foods. And I remember we had to work on those foods as well to detect which foods actually were causing problem. Could you tell a bit more about what foods currently is that you avoid on daily basis and on which ones you kind of which those trigger foods you can have from time to time as diet, tell a bit more about your diet and structure?
Yeah, I actually have a really strict diet nowadays. It has been a bit fluctuating because of COVID, of course. It's a bit harder to keep track when you have to stay at home and all that. But now it's a lot better now that, you know, we have opened up here in Norway. But during COVID times, my diet did, as I said, a bit like it did get a bit worse. I did start to eat a bit worse, and then I started to see the inflammation starting to come back. So I had to address this rather quickly, and the best kind of way to do it for me is to just eliminate that kind of food. Just quit it instantly, and of course I have to do a lot more. But for me, the kind of foods that really I start seeing instantly is coffee is one of them. If I drink coffee, I instantly get like super oily skin all over. So I think I must be like some kind of allergic, or it does some kind of some type of reaction to my body.
There's no, like, with a coffee, can I just mention it? Like, a coffee is basically something that can affect your hormones. And basically, if it affects hormones, it can also affect your skin. So it's
Yeah.
basically like your semen production, all those things. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So I have totally ditched coffee. Like I had a cup of coffee like 1 week ago or 2 weeks ago, but before that I didn't have it for like 6 months, 7 months. So it's really rare that I drink coffee. I've tried to quit like all dairy products, milk or bread and stuff, and pizzas, like deep fried food, especially deep fried foods. I had a lot of issues with deep fried food, like those. Even though I do kind of cheat on my diet sometimes and eat like maybe fried rice or something, because I can't torture myself forever with having a strict diet. Um, but I've noticed that when I've kind of when I have a pretty clean set of diet, and then I kind of eat a bit of like junk food here and there, it doesn't affect it my hair at all. It's more if I do it in a prolonged time and I do it continuously. I keep eating like junk food,
Okay.
and I noticed that my scalp starts getting way worse. So it's mostly dairy, it's mostly coffee, and deep fried foods. Those are the three
Okay.
that I try to limit from time to time.
Right. Yes. And basically, like, I think other important things to mention is that you have been now on finasteride as well, right? And you still because of diet, you still noticed increased inflammation, and you noticed increased shedding, right? At the same time.
Yeah.
At the same time as you have been on finasteride, right? So basically,
Yes.
my point here is that finasteride is not one, like, you have to address the HT angle, and it is important for you, but at the same time, like, it's not enough to stop the progression if you have something that affects inflammation, cause your scalp.
Yeah, definitely. It's I wish it was that easy, because it would have changed the game a lot. I wouldn't have to care about the food that I'm eating, but sadly it is like a price we have to pay for limiting the foods that we want for keeping the hair 100%.
Sure, yes. All right, and basically, like, this is the results you were able to get, like, just to kind of show what did happen to your hair. Then,
Yeah.
like,
So my hair got like so much denser and so much thicker. I started getting a lot more compliments on my hair. And this was following the plan and following a proper diet, and also like just kind of, I felt like at that time my life kind of improved 10% in every angle. Like I started noticing way better results throughout everything, and it really helped a lot, just trusting the process and not giving up, because I'm not gonna lie, like this didn't happen in 3 months or 4 months. This whole process that you're seeing on the pictures, it's a process of I believe almost 1.5 years,
yes.
about that. So it didn't happen overnight. So it's definitely something I had to grind out. And even though I wanted to skip maybe 1 day or 2 days, I still kept on going. So yeah, the results speak for themselves. So it's really nice once you're at the end stage.
Sure. Like, just ask about, like, what did keep you motivated, not giving up? Like, what did keep you stay motivated and actually continue with doing things? Because it was a long time, right? All year is a very long time. Not everyone has patience to actually keep addressing it, keep seeing basically the goal in the end.
Yeah.
What did keep you motivated?
Well, first of all, I've been really interested in the gym, so that really did help. Getting my knowledge from the gym, and be like the dedication that it also takes there, because it's the same process there. You can't put on the results you want in the matter of months. It takes many years to get where you want. So I did, maybe I did translate that over to this, and also it did really help with just always picturing your end results. Always like talk to yourself about why did I start. Whenever you start losing focus or motivation, it's really important to just say, why do I want this? Because there's a lot of guys that are probably okay with going bald, and that's totally fine. So you need to ask yourself, do I really want my hair? And if the answer is yes, then 100% you have to just keep doing it until you get the results that you want.
Yeah. No, sure, it's definitely like because it is a journey, like it is a challenging journey. If you don't see it as challenge, if you see it as a disaster, basically it is something that will be very hard to reach the end of it, like reach the goals that you want. Basically, the goal will be closer to here. So, because I remember when we are working together, there was ups and downs. Like we basically had sometimes we are able to get control over your situation, and then basically you kind of fall back on either because of the helmet in the military or because you had some foods that were triggering the problem again. And basically, when we first started out, I remember that you are always kind of open just for Finasteride, right? But when I first started out, I actually stressed quite a lot to wait with Finasteride until we have solid scalp inflammation. I remember that because I mentioned also for you the time window of having taken Finasteride, that is best results of taking it is basically in the beginning, like first 2 years of taking it. And we didn't want to basically mess up the time window of effectiveness of Finasteride. So we had to work on your inflammation first. Basically, I remember that when you first started with Finasteride, the thickness of the hair, it improved very fast for you, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. I remember I spoke to Alex about this, and I was actually really lucky because I was a really, really good responder to Finasteride, thank God. So I started noticing thickness and regrowth. Like most people aren't supposed to notice like hair growing back from Finasteride. It's supposed to like only stop the process. But in my case, it actually started to regrow hair all over my scalp. So I was really lucky there. And still to this day, it's still doing its job. Like I've had times where inflammation has like run amok and done really big damage to my scalp and lost a lot of hair. But even in my like temple area, everything, like it gets super thin, but it always regrows. I always see small hair popping up throughout my scalp. So I'm really happy that it's not that, it's gone forever. But yeah, I had really good experiences with it from just holding, from not having any inflammation during that time.
Right. And just to basically, just to make clear that you are not just having inflammatory problems. Like when it comes to metabolic wellness, you also had a metabolic wellness history in family, right? Like there has been some family members who have had the issue with skin loss, right?
Yes, there has been my uncles, and there's like a long line of people who have had problems with it.
Yes. All right, it was very interesting and insightful interview we had today. Like, do you have something you want to add for this call?
Yeah, I would urge everyone to take contact with Alex if you're having any problems with your hair. I don't believe there's anyone better in the market when it comes to solving your hair issues. And don't care about if it's gonna work or not. This is basically the best step you can take, and if you don't start now, it might be too late. So I'm really happy I started really young, and I know a lot of other guys that you've been working with that are also really like they started early, but there's also older ones as well. But of course, I'm pretty sure you see better results in the ones that start earlier than older, and that's also genetic wise and all that.
Sure, because they actually have to put a lot of efforts in. That's kind of reasons they get to where they want to be, like, by getting back to here. In your case, basically, like you are very motivated to actually do this thing. And basically, I see, like I've been, like since you've been in my team now, so I know how motivated you are also with your work, right? And with basically giving your best and actually following through things, right? And this also was shown in the way you solved the hair loss problem. Right? You did work for it, you stayed motivated for it. Yes, there was ups and downs, but you always knew that you kind of could get out of it. The right mindset for it.
Yeah, totally. It's kind of a good personality trait. This does train you in other different like kind of areas in life. Like if you're dedicated to solve this, then you're dedicated to, you know, do well in the gym, do well in school, work, etc. It does really um, that dedication is really important to kind of learn. Um, and whatever, you know, the end result is always the best. So especially when you get your first kind of compliments and you see this, there's basically like a weight on your shoulders whenever, like all the way when you have the hair loss issue, because you like go in the mirror, check if you have any spots or something like that, you know. And then when you solve all of that, it's like the weight just, you know, goes off your shoulder and you can finally I used this analogy with like someone else where I said that during hair loss, you look at the world in black and white, and once your hair loss and you kind of beat it, then you start watching everything with colors again. You know, then you can finally be relieved, because it's a big issue and it does affect a lot of people.
Sure.
So I'm happy that, you know, that we are able to help other people as well.
Sure. Yes. And just last thing, like because you have been in my program, you have been in my old program, you have been in my new program, like we are currently having this plan. Like, do you feel it on find easy to follow it, or like is it challenging for you to actually implement things that I have added, like regarding top applications, regarding identification, and basically addressing your diet? Like, how do you find the structure? Like, is it easy to follow it, or is it challenging between somewhere?
No, I don't find it really challenging. And the reason for that is because if you manage your time well and you know like when and how to do it, so you have like specific days for specific applications, it shouldn't be too hard. So I really encourage people to kind of to plan it really well. But it's not something that I go around and I think like, or I have like a notepad and have to write everything I eat or etc. It's a very like free flow plan where it's like, as long as I know I'm hitting the things that I'm supposed to do, and of course I don't follow it like every week. I don't follow it like 100% where I'm like there can be like, there's always room for, of course, talking to you. It's easier to say, hey, I can't do this, can we maybe switch to this or something like that, if there's like if there's like a stressful week coming up, or exams or something like that. So it's there's always flexibility in that regard.
Right. Yes, no, I totally agree. Because
Yeah.
I have tried to make the program now as simple as possible. Like basically, you use the steps and you implement them. Like compared to where we did the first time back in 2018, when it was kind of messy all around the place. Now it's actually a simple system, simple steps to follow, and basically, yeah, like by giving me feedback and implementing things, so we know if it's goes the right direction or what is happening.
Yeah, definitely. It's really important to just hold that communication as well. Like I urge people to, you know, just tell Alex everything. Like if you have some kind of problems eating some kind of foods, or some kind of get some allergic reaction, it really can turn everything around if you just, you know, share that issue.
It's often it's just a small thing, right? And
Yeah.
for some it can be a combination of a few things. Like in your case, it was basically scalp burning sensation, it was scalp environment, sweating, and it was basically diet triggers, right? And of course the EST angle. And basically when we addressed all of them and we worked on them, basically we were able to achieve awesome results. Yes,
Yeah.
I know those you have to go, so we can end it for you now, and I will just check out the questions in the chat, so, because you said that you have to go at 1 o'clock. So for,
Okay, sure. Awesome. All right.
Right.
Thanks for having me, and have a good day.
Yes,
All
thank
right.
you.
Bye.
Bye. All right, guys. So basically, I will check out the chat and see if there is any questions you have been asking for me. Yes, so basically there are not so many questions, so we end for today, and thank you for attending this live stream, and yeah, basically, if you want to know more about the program, you can use the link below the video. I will add there that you can use to basically have a call with me or my team and find a solution to your hair loss. Thanks for attending.